Lauren here at Homeschool and Life, and I'm back with you again today to share a little bit about morning time or morning basket and what we use in our home and what we will be using this year for our group and morning time subjects. We break them up a little bit differently. Some years we have done just morning time, and then some of my kids have broke off for different subjects such as history or science, and but most years we have done history and science and geography and those things together. So today I'm going to talk about all of those things, and I might go a little bit more in depth about our group subjects at some point in another video. But the main focus today is just what we do together as a family. We do these subjects in the morning, first thing when we're starting off our day. At different times we have, and in different weeks or months during the school year. Sometimes some of these will be rotated around, maybe to the afternoon, and just whatever works at that time. But for us right now, and I think this year going forward, fingers crossed, that this will be done first thing in the morning before we start independent subjects. Now, some of my kids can get up and get going and do their independent subjects if they choose to, but that's just on them when they want to get it done. Otherwise, I have the time selected after our morning time that they are given, or given the time then to do their independent subjects. So first off, I'm going to talk a little bit about our schedule, and I may choose at a different time to do another video on our schedule, but just to kind of give you an idea of when we do morning basket. So usually we get up and get going in the morning, and this has changed in different seasons. My son has participated in sports at the public school last year, and he had morning practices, and so we just got our day started a little bit later because he didn't get home until about, it wasn't terribly late, 8:30 most days, but because of that we would push back. We could just give him time to get here and get cleaned up and get ready for the day and eat his breakfast. This year his practices have moved to a different time of day, so it works better for us to get going a little bit earlier. So our goal this year is to get up and get going about 7 o'clock for my kids. Usually I'm up way before that, and this will give my kids an opportunity to do their own personal Bible study. And I will probably share about this in another video, but this year in the morning before we do anything together, my kids are each working on a Bible study or Bible journaling on their own, and they can do this anywhere they would like, in their room or at the table, and they are welcome to fix their breakfast or be eating breakfast during this time. We don't have a sit down breakfast time together. My husband goes to work, and like I said in the past, kids have been gone during that time, so there's usually a breakfast ready, but for whoever wants it during that time, some days and other times it's just fix what you want. So we are going to do our own personal Bible study during that time, and if I had not completed mine for the day already, then that will be time for me to do mine as well. Then we'll have a short break to finish up breakfast, chores, clean up, and then the goal this year is about 8:30 to start morning basket or morning time, and then after that lead into our group subjects. So without further ado, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we are using this year and what that time will look like. So first, what I usually like to start with is a Bible reading or devotional. But since everyone, including my little one, will be doing their own personal Bible time this year, the only thing we're going to use for Bible, we're going to finish. We started this book last year, and we're going to finish it this year. It's called Wonderful Ancient Psalms Ever New by Marty Machowski. We've used his theology book in the past, and we have really enjoyed that. And so we started working through this book last year, but we've used a few different things and intermixed them, so we're not done with it. But we're going to keep working on this, and then we may move on to something else once we finish it. I would say about halfway through, but each day we read a psalm and we talk a little bit about that psalm together. The next thing we'll do is Bible memory. And we use, mostly we use the Fighter Verses app for Bible memory. They have a verse of the week that you memorize. There's a song to go along with that, and they have different sets for different years. We're still working on set 1 as a family, and so my kids have these verses printed in their morning time binders, which are just their school binders that are in their box, and they have these verses printed there, and we just review and go over our new verse every day. We also do the New City Catechism, and I don't have the book to show you. You can order the book, but we just have printouts from online in our binders, and then we also use the app to just go through the catechisms, and as we are learning a new one, we'll go over that, and then we'll review previous ones that we've already learned. We also do a hymn, and I print off the hymn and put it in the kids' binders, but we will just choose a hymn. Last year I did every month. This year I'm probably going to focus more on 3 to 4 hymns for the full year, just so the kids really get to know the hymns really well, and we have more time to review some of the hymns that we've already worked on. We usually just pick a hymn out of our church's hymnal. We use the Hymns of Grace hymnal, and so we'll just go through and pick out a hymn that we want to work on for that quarter is what I think we're going to do, just 1 per quarter this year, and we just sing it. Sometimes we listen to it on, like, we'll pull it up on YouTube and listen to it. My daughter is learning to play the piano, but as of right now, none of us are fluent on an instrument, so we usually just look up the music and the lyrics, and we'll listen to it a few times. I try to pick ones that we do sing often at church, and that just helps our kids solidify what they're hearing at church and at home. So that is our hymn. But along with that, if the hymn is in, we use the Then Sings My Soul, 150 of the World's Greatest Hymn Stories by Robert J. Morgan. We have the 2 volumes of this, and there might be another one, I'm not sure. But we have 2 of them, and if the hymn's in here, we'll read the story behind the hymn. We have a few other books similar to this that we've used in the past. But, and sometimes we'll just Google the hymn and look up the story behind it. And we'll usually do this like at the beginning when we're learning the hymn. And sometimes, some days we'll just randomly, like if it's a holiday carol or something like that that we want to learn a little bit more about, we'll pull out this book and use it through the year. The other thing we also use, I'm going to put this back in here because I do want to show y'all my morning basket when we get done, and I've got it semi-organized in here now. We have, in the past we've used a rolling cart, but this year we're actually using a basket because I stole my rolling cart to use as my coffee bar now. So that is our Bible portion, and like I said, we do Bible separately, of our morning time. Sometimes in the past we've done some apologetic stuff from Answers in Genesis and different things like that, and that may be incorporated later. And if, you know, morning baskets change through the year, and if anything like that changed, I'll probably film another video and show you all that later. So the next thing we're actually going to do for this next year is what I would call our enrichment time, and that includes things that like poetry, fables, Shakespeare, artists and composers. We're going to actually add a little bit of grammar into our morning time this year, mainly because we're going to have a writing focus this year. So I want grammar to be a little more, I guess, just fluid through our days. So the kids, I know that they're still remembering some of these concepts in grammar, and nature journaling. And these are going to be broken up on different days. So I'll talk a little bit about each one and what day I think that we're going to do these things. So the first thing that I know we'll probably do this year, and it will be, let me get this out. Where is it? Here it is. Poetry. And I have a whole list typed up and ready for the year of different American poets, because we are actually studying American history this year. we're going to do it unit style, I believe. But as we go through, I just thought it'd be great to focus in a little bit on American poets. So the first one we're going to do this year is Walt Whitman. And here's the book. This is the Poetry for Young People series. And we used the Robert Frost book last year that went along with this. So this year we're just going to pick up with Walt Whitman first. And the other thing that we're going to do this year is Shakespeare. And these won't all be at the same time. They'll be at different times. And we're actually going to do poetry or Shakespeare fables on Tuesdays and Thursdays in our morning basket. And we have a lot of Shakespeare books. Actually, we have the whole plays. We have the complete works of Shakespeare. But this is what I'm going to start with because we haven't studied Shakespeare as a family yet. Some of my kids have read Shakespeare, dabbled in it independently, but as a family we haven't done it yet. So this is Poetry for Young People, William Shakespeare, and so it just takes acts or scenes out of some of his plays. I'm sure not all of his plays, and just kind of a taste of each one. So there's one from A Midsummer Night's Dream, the Sonnet 18, The Merchant of Venice, The Tempest, Hamlet, Henry V, Macbeth, Julius Caesar. So just so my kids are hearing Shakespeare, and we studied him last year when we did medieval all the way up into the 1600s. So my kids know about Shakespeare, and they definitely know a little bit about his playwriting, but we're going to go into that a little bit more this year. We didn't get to touch on as much as I would have liked to last year since it fell at the end of the school year. And the other thing that we have used in the past that I want to get back to and use more is fables. Aesop's Fables being one of them. And this is the book I have in our morning basket right now. This Aesop's for Children with pictures by Milo Winter. And this is just something that we'll just read. They're just small sections, as you can see. And we'll just read one as we intermix these on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The next thing we're going to rotate between are actually artists and composers. And I don't have a curriculum right now decided on for artists or composers. I do own some of the Simply Charlotte Mason picture portfolios for some artists, but specifically this year I want to study American artists, again, to go along with our American history. But I do love Monet, and we have talked about him in the past, my kids a little bit, and so we're going to start our year with Monet, and we're probably going to go through artists quickly, because I know with different curriculums they will do things slowly and you study an artist for a term or a quarter, but there are a lot of really great American artists that I want to study this year. The Hudson River Valley artist and Norman Rockwell. I'm really excited to talk about these different artists with my kids, and I have a whole list typed up and just links to different prints of their online links where you can go and look at their paintings. So that's what we'll do, and that'll actually be on Fridays that we'll study a different artist. But like I said, we're going to start with Monet, and this is just a cute kind of picture book. It's called The Magical Garden of Claude Monet, and it's just a really cute picture book. And then we're going to talk a little bit about him. I'll probably get some more books from the library, and then of course we'll pull up his biography and some of his paintings online that we can look at and discuss and look over. And for composers, I do have a CD of Mozart and a little biography book that's included in that, and we may start with Mozart. I know he's just very well known and my kids know his name, as well as Bach and some of those, but I have not picked composers for this year, and I may stick to some American composers this year as well, but I'm undecided on that just yet. But these are just some things that we'll do on Friday. Friday is a lighter school day for us, and our morning time will look a little bit different then. So the other thing that we're going to do is grammar this year. And so what I have for grammar that will be included in morning time is we're going to use, and we've used this as curriculum in the past, and sorry, this one's missing its cover, but this is the first book of Fix It Grammar. We'll just take the sentence and break it down into different parts of speech that it's broken up into. And we'll just do one of these sentences. We'll probably just do 2 a week. We're going to work on that Tuesdays and Thursdays. And along with that, we have grammar memory cards that we have from the Classical Conversations grammar cards. We like to use their little songs and things to go along with learning, like parts of speech and different like prepositions and things like that. I think it's helpful to have some of those things memorized, so that's what we're going to include in morning time for grammar this year. And if we change things up or decide anything, I might include that, you know, in a later video. The next thing, or the last thing that I have included actually in our enrichment time, is nature journaling. Nature journaling is something that we like to do as a family. We've always enjoyed it, but it's something we've never consistently done. So this year I have it scheduled in for Friday morning time. Like I said, we'll be doing artist or composer, and we'll be doing nature journaling on Fridays. And so just some of the things we have, the Julia Rothman Nature Anatomy. Sorry, we've used this book so much. My kids love this book. There's actually a curriculum that even goes along with this book that I've considered buying. But as of right now, what I'm thinking, we have our sketchbooks. We have new ones bought, just blank sketchbooks for each kid. And we'll just go through our nature journal. I'll pick each week. I'll have a different subject that we're going to be nature journaling about or learning about, and we'll discuss it and do some drawings and labelings and things like that on Friday. That's the goal. So my goal is to stick with this year, because my kids really do enjoy nature journaling. And whatever the topic on we may have, we'll pick up some other books from the library. We have field guides and different things like that to go along with that we're memorizing. So, and the other thing we also do is some memory work that coincides with some of our group subjects. I talked about grammar, how we use memory cards for that. And I'll talk a little bit as I'm going into now about our group subjects. Another memory thing we've done is Classical Conversations. I own some of their little flip cards and their timeline. We love their timeline. And my kids, we've never made it like a required thing in our homeschool, but my kids do enjoy it. So we like to use their, this is the year 3 geography cycle 3, and so these are all the states and capitals, and I believe at the end we'll go over the presidents of the United States. And then we also have their history cards where it's like, tell me about Columbus, and it's just a few little sentences about that. Tell me about the Boston Tea Party. Tell me about the Declaration of Independence. We've done these in the past. My kids have enjoyed them, so we'll probably go back over them and review them a little bit this year. So on to group subjects. Finally, this is the way we will end our morning time. So on Mondays and Tuesdays, like I said, we're going to be doing, Mondays and Wednesdays, we are going to be doing history. So history for us this year is going to look a little bit different. So in the past, we've mostly used Story of the World. We love Story of the World. It is an awesome curriculum, and we're probably still going to use it some this year. So we've decided, instead of doing a chronological study this year, we're going to do units through American history. So for my older children, I actually purchased and bought the Knotgrass Exploring America series. And they are going to utilize this as we go through different units. We're going to break it up and use it to walk through like colonial time, the Revolution, War of 1812, the Civil War. We're just kind of skip and hop, spending a few weeks here and there on some of the main key parts, the Oregon Trail and pioneers, and then on into the Gold Rush, the early 1900s, World War I, the Great Depression, World War II. So that's being planned still, working our way through that, trying to figure that out. But this is one of the resources that we're going to use. And along with that, with my little ones, and probably my big ones too, will still pick and choose chapters out of Story of the World. And I just have volume 3 here because it kind of starts at the beginning of American history. So we'll use some of the stories out of this, as well as some of the resources out of their book that comes along with it, that has coloring sheets and activities and things like that. I have a ton of different great literature books and just some curriculum that goes along with American history. But one of the ones I think we're going to use this year is, I had picked this up a while back, but it is American Pioneers and Patriots, and it's by Christian Liberty Press, and it's little stories about a particular child as it goes through, like, English pioneers. And then I think it broke it up also, and the first pioneers, English pioneers, and there's a story, and then there's like a little activity that goes along at the end with whatever. This is how soap was made. Pilgrims from England, pioneers from France, how the states began, pioneers going west on the wagon train. So just stories that go along through this. And I think it ends though about, it says moving west by the railroad. So westward expansion in pioneer times. So we're going to walk through this, but like I said, I'm still in the works of figuring out like our units and what exactly we'll be using each week. But that just kind of gives you an idea of what we're going to do for history this year. I also have this timeline. This is a knot grass thing, and it's just the timeline through of America. It says Of America Beautiful. That's one of the names of their curriculum for the younger grades. But we're just going to use it and add things to our timeline as we go along. There's pictures through here, and then there's blank spaces to add things for different years as you learn things. So we're going to do that. And I think that is pretty much, I'll probably get on here and do another video about group subjects and how I've put that together and stuff, mostly for history. So that is one of our group subjects, and we'll be doing that on Monday and Wednesday. The other one we're going to be doing this year is geography, and that will also be on Mondays and Wednesdays. None of the other enrichment stuff I included on that day to give us plenty of time to do geography and history. So what I've decided that we're going to do this year is actually we're going to walk through some of the C. Halling books. This is Seabird. This is the first one we're going to be doing. We'll also be doing Paddle to the Sea and Men of the Mississippi. And we're just going to read through this book. I can kind of show you just a little bit of, like, it's a story and it's about a page long with a picture. And then we're going to be discussing the areas of North America and America in geography as we go along. We will be using these maps. All of my kids, I think they all do, unless they've lost them, have these little fold out, and you can write on them. They're like vinyl-y with dry erase. And they have a world map and a United States map. And you can see this one's even drawn on. But we've had these for several years, and this is what my kids will pull out when we're discussing things. We also own a globe, so we'll be using that as well. We also have, I didn't bring it, but we own like a reproducible printed maps of around the world, and every year, whatever continent or area that we're studying in history, or that is a big focus for history, like last year we spent all year in Europe mostly and learning the different countries in Europe. But this year we're going to be doing mostly North America, the United States, but also other areas such as like Canada and Mexico and that area. And my kids will have their maps printed and put in sheet protectors in their binders, and we'll pull those out when we do geography and just discuss the area. And along with that, we also have several resources. And so as we do these books through the years, if some weeks on different days we don't pull out our C. Halling book, we may do, we like to use this book, Windows on the World. And it is when we pray, God works, and it's about praying and talking about different areas of the world. This is an old copy. It looks a lot different now. I have a pretty dated copy, but it just talks about the different countries and shows a map and talks about fact file about their capitals and how many people live there. And it'll tell a story that kind of goes along with someone who lives there and how maybe to pray specifically for that country if it's an unreached country. So that is another thing we'll use. And we just own several children's atlases as well. And we pull these out when we're discussing a particular area, or as we discuss, we also have U.S. atlases that will be discussing different states. We'll also be reviewing states and capitals. My kids have done them in the past. And those are just some of the things we will probably use this year. I have a ton of resources for geography, so sometimes I like to change it up. So Morning Basket might look a little bit differently, you know, a few months from now, other than I do want to walk through the C. Halling books. There's just several that go along with the different timelines and units we'll be doing in history. So the next thing we're going to talk about a little bit is, as we're doing American history this year, I really wanted to do a focus on government or the Constitution and how our country was founded and why it was founded and what principles it was founded upon. And so I thought about doing this in our units, but I think what I'm going to do this year is actually make this part of our Friday morning time. Friday, like I said, is a little bit lighter. We're going to be doing artist, and we're going to be doing our nature journaling, and then we'll end the day doing one lesson in the good and the beautiful U.S. Constitution. Okay, sorry, I'm all of a sudden my camera quit recording. So I was talking about on Fridays we're going to do the Constitution. We're going to study it. We're going to be using the good and the beautiful, the U.S. Constitution. This is the student journals, and it just has things for them to do to go along with the lessons. I have the PDF on my computer of the actual lessons, and we'll just do one lesson a week through the school year on Fridays. And along with that, because the student journal is focused, I think it's a little bit for the older grades, and most of my kids will be able to do this, but just in case my younger ones don't participate in all that, I also have just some like Draw Right Now books that they can use. This one in particular talks a little bit about America and how it was established, and has some things like the flag and what it means, how you can draw a flag, and a little bit of some sentences talking about that. We'll probably use some coloring sheets. Here's another one. It's called We the People, and it just has a few things about that. So we'll be using these along with, like I said, maybe some coloring sheets or just other things. I'm mostly doing this for my first, second, and third child this year, just so they understand American government a little bit more, and you know, just have that basis. So the other thing that we're going to be doing, and I've said that several times, but is science. And we're actually going to be doing science as a whole family again this year. Last year I broke it up with my olders doing a science and my youngers doing the science. But this year we're going to bring it back together. And my daughter is actually starting high school. So what she will actually be doing was she will be participating in our science, at least this year for sure. But she is doing the, this will be her 9th grade year, and she's going to be doing the Apologia Health and Nutrition class as her main, in place of her, I won't say in place of her science, because she's still going to be doing science with us, but instead of a heavy course load for science this year, she's going to be using working with us and doing that health credit, which I could do a whole review on the Apologia Health and Nutrition. It is a very in-depth study, and it is a full curriculum in and of itself. So we're giving her the time to do that this year, and then she can join in with us with our family science. So we're going to be doing some science units from the good and the beautiful, and as of right now, I think the first one, I've got to talk with my friend, because we do this channel together, and Amanda and I, and we also do a a co-op together, and so we do a lot of these things. We do them in our homes, and then we come together and do enrichment things to go along with them, and projects and things like that. So one of the main ones, or what we're going to start with, is the Good and the Beautiful unit, science units. We started using these last year, and our family loved them. So we have motions and simple machines, and another one I know we're going to do is chemistry this year, and we have a few more like that we think we're going to use, and we may change, but definitely to get us through the first quarter or two will be these. And we love the Good and the Beautiful science, and like I said, they are good for family style learning. We have the student journals for 3rd through 6th grade, and then I have the student journals for 7th and 8th grade, which my olders will be using. And so we're excited about our science again this year. So actually, the last subject that we're going to be doing in group time, but just with my older two this year, is logic. But we're going to be doing it together. And I haven't completely decided how many days a week. It is a 5-day-a-week curriculum. This is the Introduction to Logic by Master Books. And so we're still kind of working this out. This will probably not be in our morning basket time. This will be in our group morning time. This will probably be in the afternoon when I have a time set aside to work with my older ones, or even that's hard to say, even into the evening with my husband, working through it with them some too. And so we have this year. This will be a new addition. It's an elective for my 8th and 9th grader this year that we're excited about doing. So that is our morning basket and enrichment subjects and group subjects that we're going to be doing this year. We're super excited about that. The other thing that we also are going to include this year is art. And I'm trying to figure out how we're going to do the artist study on Fridays. And depending on how our Fridays look, we're going to start with watercolor, and I think some people will refer to this as like a handicraft as well, but art in general, I think we're going to work with watercolor and pastels and some drawing this year. And I like to use Let's Make Art online, or Art for Kids Hub. They're both on YouTube, and we like to use those and different resources. But we're going to start our year with watercolor, and then probably go into chalk pastels. So this will be something we'll probably do once a week. My kids do art other days of the week, definitely. So they'll get opportunities to do that other times too, or anytime they want, really, in their free time. But we're gonna do watercolor as a group, either on Thursday afternoons. It's really hard to work on and figure it all out, and like I said, I'll talk about my schedule, or on Fridays, and if that's not working, we're gonna fit it in somewhere. So that's the plan. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me today. I know this video was getting a little bit long, and here at the end I want to show y'all just a glimpse of what our morning basket looks like, and I'll show y'all how I'm organized. So here is just a quick view of what I'm using to store all my morning basket things in this year. Like I said, in the past we've used a rolly cart, but right now I'm using that somewhere else in my house. So I'm going to try this out. This is just something I picked up actually at a local consignment event, and it looks like it would hold everything, and as of right now it is. Like I said, these aren't things we use every day, but they're things we use every week. So this is going to go in my living room near our table where we do, or our living room area where we do morning basket every day. So I just have and I think I forgot to include this actually in my morning time basket, but we also do a read aloud, and I think we're going to include this not in morning time this year. It's actually going to be in at our lunch, during lunch. And as of right now, we've already started reading through the Little House series. So anyway, there you go. Forgot about that. So glad I'm showing all this. Sorry. But anyway, there's our little memory cards, and just all the books are stored in here right now.